Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Ups and downs today, right? Uh right now I'm feeling pretty calm. Earlier I was a little stressed, but hey, it comes in waves, right? You can't always be calm, cool, and collected. So that's something that I'm trying to accept and understand. I feel like the better you understand that that stress is sort of inevitable no matter how many like different habits you have to alleviate stress or prepare for whatever environment you're going to be in and whatever situation you're going to be in. Stress is always like, it's always a possibility, and things, well, life can just throw different things at you that no matter how much you prepare, like you can't prepare for everything every time. And obviously, eventually, something is going to throw a wrench into your plan, and of course that's when stress is caused. So something I'm trying to do is accept that my mental health isn't always going to be perfect, no matter how much I aim for that, no matter how hard I work for that. And obviously this doesn't mean that my hard work is for nothing, right? Clearly I'm going to get much closer than most other people because I'm putting in all that extra effort and all that extra time and energy into my mental health. But again, sometimes it's just not all there. And so I guess if I want to be more specific, I could tell you exactly why I was stressed, or I don't even exactly know why I was stressed, but well, maybe we'll figure it out as we talk through it. But so essentially, I was stressed while trying to do my reading for psychology class. Um, I'm sure all of you guys have experienced when you can't quite focus on what you're reading and it's kind of going, the information's going in, not one ear out the other, but I guess since you're reading, it's in one eye, out the other. But you don't really compute what the words actually mean. Like you say the words in your head, but it's not really registering. And I was kind of in that mode. I don't know if that's the right word. That's a word I can use to describe it. But I was that was going on while I was trying to read, and it was a little bit frustrating. It wasn't awful. It wasn't like I couldn't understand it at all, but I would just zone out every once in a while, more than often, right? More than I usually do. And that's enough to frustrate me. But I had to sort of tell myself, well, I had to use my previous knowledge from other things I've read, other psychology, other like just books in general. I know that the way that humans recall information is that over time, so say from the beginning of this YouTube video until the end, or by the beginning of this video, I don't know all the information that's going to go into this video. I did not pre-prepare this video, so I'm really just going off the top of my head. I'm just thinking out loud, essentially, is the way that I like to think about it. It's essentially a form of journaling for me, but I'm just talking to a camera rather than writing it down. But again, as these thoughts develop, I begin to recall more and more information that's useful to me. So I guess as I read the psychology work or homework, the book, the textbook, I'm frustrated because I know that my level of stress, whatever's causing me to be unfocused and not be able to really get as much as I can out of the reading, I have to like tell myself or remind myself that eventually I'll recall the information that I read. Eventually it will come back into something else I read. Like say the next chapter I read, it will like relay back to different things that I read this time, and then those dots will start to connect, and then I'll have a better understanding of that idea. So maybe not right now, maybe not while I'm reading, I have a good understanding of what I'm reading, but eventually, as I have time to organize my thoughts, think things through, and I'm maybe in, no, not maybe, definitely in a less stressed state, because stress inhibits your ability to um, connect ideas and recall information, and you need to be able to recall information in order to understand the information that you're reading. So, again, I needed to have that knowledge in order to, I mean, I didn't need to have that knowledge. I was gonna get through the reading either way. It was like 3 hours of reading, but and again, I was going to make myself finish that, regardless of if I had the previous knowledge about recalling information and knowing that eventually that information will be of use of me, even if I can't, like, so say I read all the way through that information and someone asks me, what did you learn? I wouldn't be able to recall anything. But if I just went on a walk after I read it, and then my mind would start daydreaming, and then eventually information that I read would pop in there, and then I would relate it to information that I've or past experiences maybe, or I would relate it to other things I've read, or I would relate it to whatever. I would relate it to other information. And then that develops my understanding. So even if I didn't understand it again while I was reading it, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to understand it in my lifetime, or even within the day. I'm sure that, so in my routine, I always do 2.5 hours of journaling after dinner. So I eat dinner, brush my teeth, journal from then until bed. It's about usually 2.5 hours until my bedtime at 9. So in that amount of time, in those 2.5 hours, I have a lot of time to develop my thoughts and organize my thoughts and ideas and what I've learned in that day. So no matter how much I think I get or got nothing out of that reading, or how much I might want to think that, I know that I'm going to get something out of it. I know that there's still time to learn from that. It's, the information is not gone completely out of my mind. It just hasn't clicked yet. And so again, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. If you guys struggle with reading every once in a while, and really comprehending what you're reading, like, excuse me, I'm not even saying like, anything less than perfect reading, or anything less than like reading to an understanding where you're not frustrated with what you're understanding. You know, sometimes you'll just think, I guess you just want to have understood what you read better. Even if you understood it pretty well, if you want to understand it better, you still have a chance after you're done reading. It's not like you're going to understand what you read best right as you like close the book. It's usually going, or I find even when I like am not stressed and my ability to connect ideas while I'm reading is perfectly, like, it's working perfectly well, and like honestly exceptionally well, I'll still develop those ideas better in the future, and as I have more time to think and journal, write, record a video about it, whatever, output information essentially. Reading is the inputting information, writing, talking, thinking is outputting information, and outputting information is how you organize those thoughts and ideas. And really, outputting information is when you really start to understand, I guess, understand in general, not even just the information you read, but that too. I find that I develop much more in-depth knowledge through writing, and just giving myself time to think in general. Even if I don't read, I'll feel like I'll have learned more literally just going on a walk sometimes, which gives me time to think, rather than, again, what I said, reading. So I think you really have to balance your inputting and your outputting of information. Right now I'm trying to go for about 5 hours of inputting information per day and a little over 5 hours of outputting information. And this way your mind, if you have a little bit more of outputting, your mind doesn't get crammed. It has time to organize all that information. 5 hours might sound like a lot to you guys, but you don't have to do quite that much. You clearly don't. But again, just try to do more outputting than you input information. And again, like I said, even talking, having conversations counts as outputting. Even going on a walk, thinking while you walk, which is inevitable. There's no way you can just turn your brain off, right? So meditating, I would count even doing yoga. Really all those things. Sometimes, I mean, if you're going to be lenient with it and you want to be able to say that you balanced your inputting and outputting information, I don't personally count lifting and I'm not going to say lifting and working out. Like I don't know. Cardio seems to take a lot of your focus, but you have a lot of time between sets while you're lifting, and as long as you're just not on your phone, I'd essentially count lifting as outputting information. A lot of that time you spend thinking, and it's honestly pretty productive thinking in my opinion, because of the endorphins that are created, I don't know if that's the right word, released in your brain when you are working out, and that helps you think more in depth. And well, you're lower stress, and again, like I said, stress inhibits your ability to connect ideas and recall information. So maybe I could count lifting as outputting information, but I'm trying to be strict on myself and really make sure that I think more than I intake other people's thinking. And you really develop your critical thinking skills. If you just input other people's information and what they think, yeah, you might like have a bunch of good facts and information in your mind, but you don't know how to use it and put it together to develop a really deep understanding of how the world works. I just think it's important to output more than you input. That's not what this video started about, but like I said, when you're writing or thinking or recording a video, in my case, you start the video or you start on one subject and you don't know where it's going to take you. So again, it's you recall information as you go, and sometimes it's not linear. It's not going to go from here to here to here. Sometimes it'll go here, 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 like kind of all over the place. But I mean, I feel like the dots connected well enough. I feel like I did a good job. I feel like if you can, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just feel like the way I did it was fine. I feel like it doesn't have to be perfectly linear, I guess is what I'm saying. Not even just this video, just thoughts in general don't have to be perfectly linear. So don't set such a high standard for yourself that if they're not perfectly linear, that they're not good enough. Because of course, like I'm saying, you do recall information as you go, and it will become more and more linear as you go. So it's about having faith in the process, and I'm talking about essentially just like the regular meaning of process, like your actions, what you do throughout life, what you like, say the process to maybe if you're a gym rat to get jacked, or the process to if you're in self-improvement to improve your cognitive function, but also the thought process. If you have faith in the thought process and your mind's ability to develop your thoughts and ideas and develop your understanding over time, you have faith in that, you won't be so stressed you won't stress about your stress as much. You won't double up on stress. Because sometimes I'll be stressed, and then because I know that stress inhibits your ability to recall information and connect information and to have a good understanding of what you're reading or whatever information you're intaking, whether it's a teacher talking, you're reading, or you're just trying to have a normal conversation and like you're kind of here and there in your mind while they're talking to you, and that's never cool. But so essentially, I get stressed because I know, or I get stressed and then I get stressed about my stress because I know that fact, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm not going to learn as much as I could, and then I realize later, as I get a little bit less stressed, I realize, oh, I shouldn't have been stressed about my stress. Well, one, because that just makes it worse, but also because over time, even if you are stressed, if you just keep outputting information and thinking and letting your thought process develop, it will eventually get to the point where you're recalling useful information rather than just recalling. I mean, when I'm stressed, the types of things I recall are really honestly quite useless. They're just things like I don't know, but they're not useful. It's not the type of information that you want to be remembering, and it's just, you're gonna have lower quality thoughts. But if you stick through having lower quality thoughts, and say, instead of, some people when they're stressed, they react by distracting themselves with TV, video games, drugs, whatever it is. But if you just sit through the low quality thoughts and then let those thoughts develop, your thoughts become more and more quality, and then quality thoughts lead to lower stress. So it's an inevitable process if you just have faith and you stick through and don't let yourself go do something else because you're stressed, and that's how people react when they're stressed. Just do what you know is right, which is the hard work. If you're in school, finish the reading. I can't think of any examples, but it doesn't matter. I know you guys aren't stupid. You don't need an example that's tailored specifically to you. But do the hard work. Output more than you input. Think through. Let yourself develop your thoughts and ideas. Let yourself naturally recall information. And get to it. Get after it, guys.